target would be $65,500. Why is Bitcoin moving right now to the downside? I just said you need to zoom out sometimes. The most important level for Bitcoin to break. Bitcoin is sitting at a really crucial support level. I will show you a couple of charts that are pointing to the next big move here for Bitcoin, and this might be a different move that you are expecting to be happening here. And you should not forget that sometimes we need to zoom out to get the full picture. Let's go. Thank you guys for tuning in here once again into the AMCrypto channel. My name is Alex and we are here right now on the daily chart for Bitcoin. And what you can see here is that Bitcoin is having a small move here to the downside, and I can tell you straight away, I'm not really concerned by that move here. We were hitting here now multiple times a resistance level around $62,500. I mentioned that multiple times that this is right now the most important level for Bitcoin to break, to continue to move here back to the upside and to try to reclaim the middle band of the Bollinger Band. And once that is achieved, we should continue to rally to the top of the Bollinger Band. Good thing is that when we are coming down into the bottom region of the Bollinger Band here, that usually we are experiencing a bounce back to the upside at some point. So just let Bitcoin a little bit more consolidate here and we should be fine by early next week. But that is not what I really wanted to show you today. I just said you need to zoom out sometimes to get a better picture of what's going on here. And I have pulled up here a chart that we did not look at for a really long time. So I'm going to explain you again what a chart represents. You have here the line chart in white, that is the Bitcoin price action, and the candles down here is the USDT dominance represented also in candlesticks. Every time when the USDT dominance is dropping, you see here sharp drop to the downside. The last time here in 2021 in July, that started the massive bull run to almost $70,000. And once we were breaking above this downward sloping trend line that was acting as resistance for the USDT dominance, we topped out in terms of the Bitcoin price. The USDT dominance increased and price was moving to the downside. Last year in October, we saw again that the dominance was breaking under this trend line here. We saw a sharp drop here to the downside. We started a small bull run again back to the upside based on the ETF hype. And then we had again a small increase in the USDT dominance, and that's why price came down once again. But now I believe that we are in a region where we potentially going to see the USDT dominance getting rejected from this downward sloping trend line to the downside, and that will kick off the next rally to the upside. So this is of course something that will not happen overnight. This will take a couple of months potentially. So but once, let's say, Bitcoin is getting here above that should more or less be the $65,000 level, $66,000 level, we know for sure that now Bitcoin is moving full back into bull mode and will continue the upwards trajectory. So that is just something that I thought would be worth mentioning, and that's why I wanted to show it to you guys. Why is Bitcoin moving right now to the downside while we were holding before the crucial support level of $61,400? It is really easy. It is short sellers trying to come back and squeeze the price to the downside on a Friday with options expiry. That's also happening today, trying to get a strike price for these options as low as possible so that bearish options, the puts basically, will not hit as hard as they would be if price would stay around the $61,400 level. So what they try to do now is to push price down below $60,000. So, and we can clearly see that because the open interest had built up here, because people were starting to long again around these levels. And now we see a red candle. That means longs are getting punished here and liquidated. and also the leverage is going here to the downside. The spot volume is going to the downside, and that is just telling us that a lot of selling is here going on right now, while the price is moving to the downside. So here's not a lot of longs coming in right now to try, and also spot bids to push the price back up. Everything is pointing to the downside, and that is just showing you that bears are trying to gain control here at current levels in hindsight of the options expiry that is happening today. So I'm not really concerned about that unless we would break here, let's say below, $60,000 again. Also here, really important to notice on the daily chart for Bitcoin, the Fibonacci retracement levels, the golden ratio, the 60,730 level. As long as the golden ratio is holding here, I'm not concerned at all, so that ratio goes down all the way to $60,536. We could see a quick wick below that, but I would expect a move afterwards straight back to the upside here. It is unfortunate that we lost the 0.5 level. That is that level that bulls and bears are fighting over right now, the $61,400 level. Let's go to a lower time frame to see what's going to happen here. So 4 hours looks bearish. The 1 hourly looks like that we are about to bottom out here. But also here, another hour. So another hour potentially of downwards movement before we get a slight bounce back to the upside. Overall look here is still fine also on the 4 hourly chart, because overall we are forming here a symmetric, an ascending triangle. So we are just sitting here at support right now, and up here is the resistance. And that is sitting at $62,225, which is also the lower end of the next bigger resistance, because the resistance is sitting between that level and the $62,500 level. So that here, that is kind of where our resistance is sitting right now. As long as we are holding here this upward sloping trend, Bitcoin will continue to consolidate within that ascending triangle. And if we would get a breakout here to the upside, just going to show you the target. The target would be $65,500. So that would be also really, really important level to clear, because we would take out this whole order block here. Let me just change the color. I needed black yesterday for something. This less, make it red, less red. So there we go. So once we're taking out here this order block, we will establish support above that level. And then, of course, we'll try to move to the next level. And the next level above that would be here at $67,400. So watch that ascending triangle, what's going to happen here over the next 8 hours approximately, 5 hours approximately. If we can stay within that and not breaking down from it, we should get a breakout here by Saturday. So by tomorrow, basically. If we see a breakdown at some point to the downside, then the target would be around the $58,000 level. If we would come back down to retest and to run back into the low here, I definitely going to open a new Bitcoin long position once we are hitting the $60,000 mark, and then we'll go to 59, 58 and scale into that trade position. So right now, again, I don't see this to be happening, that we are running into this, but just in case that I'm potentially wrong here, I want to be prepared for that. So, and just after I finish the video, I'm going to place some orders at these levels, just in case that we actually wick all the way down here. So again, I don't see it. Also, the PCE numbers came in better than expected, which is another indication that we should get a rate cut this year and potentially sooner than we think. And that is also some fuel that we got today to potentially maintain current levels. Then the 4-hour EMA ribbon was getting here once again rejected. We looked, it was not a long time ago, guys, so we're talking here like half an hour ago, we were still looking fine, and then we started to get a rejection from the EMA ribbon. So here, best case scenario, what I would like to see here is another move back up within the ribbon, all the way up to $62,000, and hold this level. That is really important. If we cannot hold this level, we will run down at least to $60,200 in my opinion, because that will trigger a lot of stop losses, because a lot of people think they should place their stop loss here, but more professional traders put it a little bit lower than that. So they're gonna put it here to under this low, and that is what then stop hunters would be targeting for the $60,200 level, to stop everybody out that was long from potentially here $60,700, or had actually dared to at break even their stop loss, and then send it back to the upside. So watch out for that, guys. So sometimes you have to think like smart money, you know, so to get the best entries, and to get into their shoes and try to think how they would play the market. Because also here on the stochastic RSI, there's still some downwards movement, or a lot of room for downwards movement to the downside. And I just want you guys to be prepared for that. But for now, it looks like that we are holding quite strong, the $60,800 range. You see by the price action that bears trying to push this to the downside. In terms of liquidation levels, nothing has really changed here. So we just took out the downside liquidity a minute ago. Before I refresh that, just stop the video, go back and pause the video to see that. All the liquidity, the long liquidity that had built over the last 24 hours was down here. So that was taken out now. They could technically go all the way down here to like $60,100 to take out everything that is remaining here. But worst case scenario, from there I expect a bounce back to the upside, and that is more or less the exact level that I have just shown you on the previous chart. Afterwards, we will go back to the upside to take out the upside liquidity that has built up over the last 24 hours, and then we will most likely go back into a sideways range over this weekend. In terms of the correction cycle, so we are still here now 106 days in our correction phase here. Nothing has changed here. Really easy to see when this correction is over. The start for the correction to be over will be once we are breaking this downward sloping trend here, which is sitting now again at $62,200 approximately. So break this downward sloping trend line and close a daily candle above that level, and that should be your signal that you can take a little bit more risk again in the current market, and prices will then push back to the upside. Now, when we're looking at the Bitcoin dominance is breaking the 54.3% level, but of course in a way that we don't want to see that level to be broken, even though it means that altcoins overall are doing well compared to Bitcoin. At least they might not get a big hit as they usually get, which is fine. So, but we are again moving here quite fast to the downside. I would prefer if we get a bounce from here while Bitcoin is coming back to the upside, and go a little bit sideways and consolidate before we get a proper move below the 54.3% level, and then start a proper run in altcoins. Because if we keep going in these fast candles down on the dominance, even though altcoins will do well, don't get me wrong, but it's too fast, guys. Everything that goes up fast or goes down fast will be also get punished the other way around. So, and that's what we don't want. We want that to be a sustainable move, so that support can be formed on the way up, and that we then have a solid support from bounce off from, if we ever come back down to revisit these levels, and before we get another leg to the upside. And guys, don't forget, if you want to trade in this volatile market, you should go to BYBIT and claim your $30,000 bonus. You can also still get $2,000 over the next 7 days as a giveaway from myself and in partnership with BYBIT. The only thing that you need to do for that is use the link down below here. To sign up on BYBIT, deposit $100, open one trade, even if it's a $1 trade, it does not matter, and subscribe to my channel and have the notifications on. That's all what we are asking for. It's not a lot, and you stand a chance to win $2,000 in the next 7 days. I will, at any random day, I'm gonna pick a winner. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be in 3 days, it could be next week. You don't know when I'm gonna do it, but it will be in the next 7 days. So make sure that you have an account there and at least $100 and open a trade to be eligible for that $2,000 giveaway. And I can tell you, last week nobody was taking part, so nobody won the money, and that's and it's usually $1,000. That's why I doubled it for the upcoming week. So if you want to win instead of $1,000, $2,000, go and sign up on BYBIT with the rules that I just mentioned. So, and otherwise, if you cannot use BYBIT, you can also trade on Margex. I also really like to trade on Margex with the link down below here, or on FAIRDESK. There also you still get $120,000 worth of bonuses if you use the link down below here. All these links are in the pinned comment below and in the description of this video. So now let's talk about altcoins, because Ethereum was today looking quite strong, I must say. We were attacking again the downward sloping trend line, tried to break over it, but failed, and seeing now another rejection back into the golden ratio here. Here the same thing, as long as the golden ratio is holding, we should see over the next couple of days finally a break above that line. Now the problem that I see on the 12-hourly chart is that we are forming here a reversal candlestick pattern. So that is a Morningstar pattern. And that usually means we will come back to run here some of these lows. We don't have to go all the way back down here to $3,200, but maybe like $3,300, $200 might be back on the table. And also here, I'm gonna place some orders here just in case that we get down there, you know. So unless something happens right now in the market that we start turning around, I'm definitely targeting $3,200 for a trade into the $3,400, $3,570 level. Another coin that is performing quite well, while Bitcoin is going sideways, and I was really surprised by that, is LDO right now, Lido. And let me explain you why that coin is performing so well. Because we are playing right now the Ethereum narrative, because of the Ethereum ETF potentially being approved in the next 5 days. 5 to 7 days actually. We have here a nice established upward sloping trend line, and as long as that trend is not broken, I remain bullish here on Lido for the time being, and also this horizontal support area. As long as we are able to hold this, we should keep this upwards grind into the $2.60, $2.70 level. Also here, really easy how you can see when Lido is moving. Lido likes to create these downward sloping trend lines that are getting broken on the way up. So now we are not forming a downward sloping trend. We are more or less forming a W pattern here, by the looks of it, here W-shaped pattern, which could mean that Lido is right now gearing up for a nice big juicy candle, something like this here, to break into that resistance area that is hanging above us, and that is coming from here, these wicks where liquidity was sitting, supply, so basically supply was sitting there, and a lot of people wanted to sell around these levels, and hence why we got rejected and went to the downside, retested it here, got again rejected. So I believe Lido's right now setting up for a move into that level. So and if I measure here the move for that W pattern, then you're also gonna see, let me get rid of the W shape, then you see the target is the resistance area above us once we are breaking the neckline at $2.44. So what I would do, if you are a little bit risk adverse, if we come back into that support area below us at $2.23, $2.29, open a position here as long as we are holding above the upward sloping trend line, and then you can trade this and have your first take profit already at $2.45 where we have the neckline. I would take like 25% profit on this trade and move my stop loss to my entry level, and then you have a risk-free trade into that resistance area where I would take another 50% and leave 25% as a moon back if we break into higher levels. So, but in any case, you made then already 75% profit overall that you have taken off the table. You can raise your stop loss then to the neckline and let this ride to the upside. So here with Theta is wrestling with this upward sloping trend here in that bigger ascending triangle, even though we had here some deviations. As long as we can hold here kind of that support, I will remain bullish on theta and hold my position unless we start closing a candle below this downward sloping trend line here on the 1 hourly chart. So if we are starting to closing a candle below here, I will close my position in a loss. I don't care. I rather save my money and have a loss and have another day to trade with that money than getting liquidated here. So, but for now, we are still around that upward sloping trend, sitting here and clinging onto it, but we need to see a bounce from here back to the upside, at least to like $1.55. Yeah, $1.55 would be good if we can get that. And then the breakout should be happening between tomorrow and Sunday above $1.60. So here again, you would be fine to open a trade right now, but just have a tight stop loss at like $1.50. So we are talking here a 2% move to the downside against, what is that? Almost a 5% move to the upside. So that is, for me, worth taking it. It's a 1 to 2, more or less, risk to reward ratio. Yeah, so and I'm in that trade already right now. Then Phantom was looking not bad today, but here the EMAs are holding us down. So Phantom needs to reclaim the 50 moving average here at 58.3 cents. Only if we start reclaiming that, we can expect a rally to the upside to around 65 cents from here. Only then, not before. Right now we are dancing around the horizontal support level of 55.83 cents. As long as we are holding that, I also remain bullish on Phantom. The overall trend from these lows is also still holding up here, but you see we are also like hanging on by a thread. But the indicators overall signal bullishness. So that move here to the downside might be short-lived, and we are going to see then quite soon a move back to the upside. A coin that surprised me quite a bit was AVAX that I mentioned yesterday. So we moved above the resistance line that I mentioned at around $28. So if you would have taken the trade, you would have been up a total here of more or less 4% today at the high. Now you're still up 1%. I would still hold this trade because also here overall we are looking bullish and trying to break this downward sloping trend line. Once we are breaking above that, it's full bull mode for AVAX to rally back to like $65 in the long term. Then another coin is actually WIF. WIF is back in that support area here. That is a good area to buy, in my opinion, especially on spot. Here on the 4 hourly, we have already bottomed out on a stochastic RSI. I expect here a bounce in the next 5 hours above the $2 level again. So right now is a good moment to get into this, to trade this at least to $2.46. And if we break that level, this bigger downward sloping trend line, then we are most likely rallying in direction of $3 here once again. And guys, that's it for today's episode here. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you then again tomorrow.